Hello, and welcome to another episode of our Top Ins podcast, your weekly dose of football facts.
That's right, bud. No nonsense. Just a pure football chat you wish you had in the pub every weekend. So what is today's topic?
It is the history of soccer. We'll be covering everything from its origin to the start of the modern game we know and play today. I'm Leon.
And I'm Niklas, and right now we are taking a trip back in time with you to where it all began. Although, mate, did you just say soccer? Are you alright?
I know. But before you cancel me, I just wanted to clarify for our international listeners. We're talking about football as in what Americans call soccer. Obviously, I'd never say that unironically.
Fair enough, just had to make sure. Because here it's football, the one true sport. Anyways, now you get to know how football became the game we know and love, right here on the Big Isle.
Oh yeah, we'll be talking about medieval chaos, Victorian rule makers, and how we went from kicking a pig's bladder around a muddy field to the game we see today. So, picture this. It's the 12th century. You're in a tiny English village and out of nowhere, there's a massive ball, probably made out of pig's bladder, rolling down the street. What you doing?
You chase it down, obviously. You and everyone else in the village.
Exactly. No teams, no refs, no rules. Just pure chaos. These early versions of football, known as mob football, were basically an excuse to run through the streets while kicking a ball. Or each other.
And it was brutal. People got trampled, windows got smashed. It was, for your imagination, medieval Sunday League, but without the pints after.
Which is why kings kept trying banning it. Edward II, Edward III, and also Henry IV, they all did so. In 1314, the Lord Mayor of London even declared, quote,
"There is a great noise in the city caused by hustling over large balls. We forbid playing of football in the future."
Nice try, mate. Mission failed. Football wasn't going anywhere.
Fast forward to the 1800s and Napoleon is doing some stuff in Europe. But way more important, the game is still an uncontrolled mess. Every school and town had their own versions. Some allowed running with the ball, some allowed full contact wrestling, some were actually playing what kinda looked like modern football.
And this is where the posh boys come in. Public schools like Eton and Harrow started writing down first rules, but they still were all different. If you played at rugby school, you could pick the ball up and run with it. If you played at Cambridge, you had to pass and dribble.
Fun fact? The sport of rugby was created at exactly that rugby school later on.
But now back to the better sport. So in 1863 some clever guys met at the Freemasons Tavern in London and said,
"Right, we need proper rules."
That's when the Football Association, or short FA, was founded, and they wrote down what we now call association football. Crucially, they said no handling the ball, which is why rugby and football split into two different sports.
And from there, football had structure. Clubs could actually form, play proper matches, and most importantly, start charging people to watch. Now, even though football had rules, it was still mainly played by upper class lads. That changed when working class teams started popping up in industrial cities. Sheffield, Manchester, Birmingham, you name it. These guys weren't just playing for fun, they were playing to win.
And when money got involved, the FA had a problem. They wanted to keep football as a gentleman's game, meaning amateurs only. But clubs, especially in the north, started secretly paying players. By 1885, the FA had to give in and make professionalism legal.
That was massive. Once players could earn a living from football, the game exploded. Crowds got bigger, and in 1888, we got the first ever football league, started by Aston Villa's William McGregor.
From there, things went global. The English took football everywhere. Argentina, Spain, Italy, Brazil. British sailors, railway workers and businessmen spread the game, and suddenly England wasn't just playing football, it was exporting it.
And with the fans came the passion. And, let's be honest, the madness too. This is also where we need to talk about a truly British phenomenon. The hooligans.
Oh yeah, you can't tell the story of football without the rowdy lads in the terraces. By the 1970s and 80s, English football wasn't just famous for the game, it was infamous for violence off the pitch.
The firm culture took over. Groups like the Intercity firm at West Ham or the Headhunters at Chelsea turned match days into battlegrounds. It got so bad that English clubs were banned from European competitions after the Hazel disaster in '85.
Luckily, a lot has changed since then. Better policing, stadium upgrades, fan initiatives, but that edgy tribal energy, it's still part of the DNA.
Right, so England created the game, but let's be honest, once other countries got involved, they ran with it. By the early 20th century, leagues were booming everywhere. England didn't even enter the first few World Cups because the FA thought they were too good for it.
And when they finally showed up in 1950, lost to the USA. Absolute embarrassment.
Still, England bounced back, winning the World Cup in 1966, dominating European club football with Liverpool and the Red Devils in the 70s and 80s. And then, in 1992, creating the Premier League, which basically changed football forever.
Yeah, the Premier League took football from working class roots to a global business. TV rights, sponsorships, billion-pound transfers, football became big money business.
But despite all that, English football still feels different. The atmosphere, the history, the rivalries, whether it's the Premier League, the FA Cup, or even League Two, there's something special about football in England.
Right, so here's the big question. Why is football so British?
Alright, let's break it down. It started in absolute chaos, just like a Saturday night in any English town. Secondly, it was shaped by tradition and class wars. Classic British society, right? And yes, it had its dark side too. Hooligans, scandals, drama. But that's also part of the mythos.
And it traveled around the globe, but stayed loyal to its roots. Even with all the money, English football still has the raw, unpredictable energy.
And let's not forget, no one is as much into football as the Britons. We invented the game, complain the most about it, and still think the World Cup is coming home every 4 years.
Exactly. So while Spain might have tiki-taka, Brazil might have samba football, and Germany might have efficiency, English football has heart, passion, and to be honest, absolute drama.
And David Beckham.